They finally decided to copy all of their digital storage to an online server as backup. Quite late, to be honest. I know a few of their old hard drives gave out over the last few years, and naturally a bit of panic settled in. There's actually tons of important data included in recording sessions. It's not just about storing the audio masters. Sometimes artists want to come back to an old session to remix it, or maybe they need individual tracks for live sequencing, or perhaps they need isolated stems for sampling purposes. Beyond that, some of the recording sessions are from some pretty legendary artists and worth preservation for their historical and educational value. I won't name any of the actual artists under the label I work for, but take Michael Jackson's Beat It as an example. You could theoretically go back and look at the multiple vocal and instrument takes that were recorded, then edit them together and create an entirely new version of it. How sick is that? Granted, producers usually would have already comped together all of the best takes for the final version, but still, who wouldn't want to listen to a quasi-parallel universe version of Thriller? All that to say, there's some incredibly valuable information in the label's archive, and losing any of it can lead to some serious trouble. Anyway, some weeks ago, my boss emailed me an inventory sheet that included a list of the brands, models, and serial numbers of about 36 old computers and 60 hard drives to go through, and sent me down to the basement to begin. It's kind of creepy being down here, to be honest. It's not just the no windows thing and the fluorescent lighting which has always made me feel uncomfortable. It's also the layout of the basement, which is very odd in comparison to the layout upstairs. It's basically a long, continuous strip of rooms, one immediately leading into the next through single doors, with no hallways. I think I counted 9 rooms when I explored the space on the first day. My guess is that throughout the years, the studio kept on digging to build subsequent rooms when they would run out of storage. Every room is a storage nightmare of recording equipment and utilities. Microphones, stands, hardware units, instruments, speakers, panels, tape machines, boxes full of old tape reels, and an absolutely terrifying amount of cables. My boss told me that I am likely to find computers and drives in every room, so to search each one thoroughly. I set up camp in the first room, using an old and gutted mixing console as my working station, in which I placed my equipment for the transfers and an old lamp I found for warm lighting. I actually preferred having that as my only source of lighting than to have those horrid fluorescent lights on. There's been an eerie vibe down here from the start. It's probably the fact that right across from where I sit, I can actually see all the way to the last room, its doorway, and all the subsequent ones perfectly aligned to the first. A specific kind of charged darkness deepens from room to room, creating a kind of square spiral of increasingly heavy shades of black. It's been a pretty slow but, thankfully, steady process so far. I've been carefully searching all of the rooms one by one. Today I was searching through the last room. Most computers have worked fine so far, but most have brand-specific missing cables and/or accessories, mouse, keyboard, etc., all of which have been fairly annoying to find online in working condition. I brought the first computer I found and set it on my station, a PC which looked to be from the mid-90s. I wrote its serial number down but could not match it to any of the numbers on the inventory list. Not that odd, I guess. It could have been used for purposes other than recording, or perhaps was an employee's forgotten computer. Either way, I want to take a quick look to be sure. I switch it on and start searching through it. Nothing. There is absolutely nothing on the computer except for a single folder right on the desktop titled Infinite Error. The name didn't ring any bells in relation to the label. I open it and inside is a single audio file. I try to play the audio file but nothing comes out of the computer speaker. I check the volume wheel to see if it's low but no audio is coming out. No problem. I connect the computer's audio output to an external speaker I'd been using and attempt to play it a second time. Now audio is coming out, but it appears to be just white noise. I know the speakers are working properly, so I think it's possibly corrupted. Wanting to be thorough, I copy the folder to the main computer in which I'm organizing the central archive where it can possibly be fixed. That's when things started to get weird. When I opened the folder on the main computer, it now contained 2 audio files. I preview the first audio file, and instead of white noise, now it plays back a song. Same with the second file, which was another song. This will sound irrelevant, but the music immediately deepened the dread that I had been feeling in the basement, especially when looking down the doorways. I quickly stopped the song. Confused, I thought of one last thing to do before moving on. I grabbed the folder and duplicated it to see if that would reveal more files, but nothing. I then took out my laptop and copied the folder there. That worked. Now it contained 3 files. 3 different songs. I quickly turned on another computer and copied it there. 4 songs. I repeated this 6 more times with 6 more computers. That's where the folder stopped revealing itself further. I now had a folder with 10 songs on it, each song more sinister than the last. I've never seen anything like this. Though I'm technically not supposed to, I've copied the folder with the 10 songs on it to my phone and laptop to take with me and see what I can find out. I'm both intrigued by the multiplication of its files, but also by the music. I've never heard anything like it. Any help would be appreciated. Has anyone experienced anything like this? I know for a fact that the old computer's audio output does indeed work, since I copied a separate audio file to it and it played back fine. The audio file on the original folder still plays back as white noise. It's almost like the folder wants to spread. I sound insane, LOL. Help a lad insane out. I'll be updating with another video soon.